that went through that. Everything was going great until the very last week. One of the last things that you have to do before you graduate, get your tan beret, and go off to your unit is you have to do 5 ropes from the fast rope tower, and on like it was the 4th one. It was the first one where you're all going, because they do crawl, walk, run, right? So like the first one, it's like individual, nothing, no equipment on you or anything like that, and then the last one is like a real one where you've got a ruck and all this stuff on you, and everybody's going out one right after another, like full speed. So it was like the 4th one where you had your this is LCE time, so you had the canteen on either side and all that, but we didn't have a ruck on yet. But it was at like one right after another. And so we go up and we were on, most fast rope tires, they'll have a 60 side, a Blackhawk side, and then a Chinook side. On the Chinook, for anybody that's ever roped out of a Chinook before, the nice thing about a 60, that rope, when you get into the door, that rope is like right there between your legs. So you can just grab onto that rope, rotate out, and you're good. On a 47, you walk down to the edge, and then you have to kind of like reach out for the rope, and then kind of, take the wheel Jesus out there, get on, and then slide down. So it's a little bit more nerve-wracking. Well, the towers are set up that way to where the rope is a little bit further out. You got to reach out for it and swing out. Well, what they teach you is when one goes out, you don't mount the rope until you see the helmet of the guy in front of you go below the platform. That's when there's enough distance. And so, get up there and, see the helmet go below. I reach out, go get one hand on, go. It's kind of a fluid motion of rotating and second hand all at the same time. Well, right as I'm rotating out, you need to get your feet on the rope. You don't just rope with your hands. Well, all of a sudden the rope disappears and I'm starting to fall. It's like starting to go, and like I'm like clacking my boots together trying to I can't find the rope. It's in my hands, but I can't find the rope with my feet. And then it all happens so fast. Obviously, your hands start to burn. They instinctively kind of let go a little bit there. And yeah, it sucked, but I fell about 35 feet, bounced off the P rock, and everybody was like, oh, holy, and it sucked. I think I cracked a rib in here, and then had a spiral fracture on my tibia and stuff. And it was another one of those kind of situations, like in base training with getting shot. And except this time I had one rope left. The NCO that was out there, I'll leave his name out of it. He's notorious though. He was real cool, and he was like, hey man, that was your 4th rope. Totally understand if you can't, but like, there's no checkpoint here. Like, if you don't do that 5th rope, I can't graduate you in 2 days, and you're going to have to do rep all over again. Now, I want to be super clear. I was not exactly the dude that was up for honor grad. I felt middle of the pack guy. But from my perspective, I felt like I was lucky to even make it to this point. So I wanted to be a ranger so bad, like more than anything. And in my mind, it was like, dude, I'm kind of rolling the dice if I say I'm going to take 2 months to go heal up from these things and then go do RIP again. Think about that 2 months of healing from those things. That means you're not doing a lot of PT. You'd be showing up a little bit out of shape. Like, that seemed like a huge thing. And so I went, and they were cool. They were like, you don't have to wear a ruck, just do a 5th rope. That's it. If you can muster it, dude, I went and fucking hobbled my ass up the stairs there, up 40 feet up or whatever it is, and got my 5th rope in. And that is actually also why I ended up going to 1st Ranger Battalion, because of the 3 battalions, 1st Ranger Battalion typically is seen as the most desirable. You're on the beach. It's a cool college town. It's not a big military base there.
Savannah, Georgia, right?
Yeah. Savannah's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's right in Savannah. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not even at Fort Stewart. You're in Savannah. Mm-hmm. It's awesome, and so everybody wants to go there. And so the next day when we were getting our assignments for it and stuff, and for 11 Bravos, there's a lot of them, so they can kind of go anywhere. If you're a soft skill or something like that, they might be like, hey, we need a 25 Charlie at this battalion. You don't really have a choice matter. 11 Bravos, you can kind of go anywhere because all the battalions have lots of 11 Bravo slots. And everybody wants to go to 175, and so they'd call out like, okay, who wants to go to this one, and people would just like jump over the desks in the classroom that you had in. It was like a fight, and intentionally so, to who wants it, you know, and get up there, and then the way they would do it too is the cadre from each of those battalions would pick who they wanted to go to the battalion they came from, you know. So the guy for 1st Ranger Battalion was also the guy that was out there at the rope tower with me and saw all that stuff. Again, he was kind of a notorious guy. And so they jump all that stuff, and we get up there, and obviously I wasn't exactly the first one because I was fucking hurt. And so I was kind of in the back of the group there, and I really wanted to go to 175. I was like, I do not want to be stuck here at Fort Benning at 375. 275 was like kind of my second choice, you know, but I really wanted to go to 1st Bat. And we get up there, and there's like, I don't know, 6 slots or something like that for 175. And so he's counting them off, and he gets to like the last one, and he looks at me, he's like, you know what? We need dudes that'll pick themselves up after getting hurt. Like, you're going to 175. I was like, yeah, like, because I thought for sure I wasn't going to go. So that's how I got to 1st Ranger Battalion. Not only did I go to 1st Ranger Battalion, I went to the company, platoon, and the specific squad that instructor had just come from. So pretty wild how that all worked out. And then
that's got to show him though, like, look, you just pretty bad. Yeah. And like, he's going to go back up the tower and graduate.
So I didn't f it up.
I mean, you know, what happened?
Yeah. So the guy that went down in front of me, I left this part out. The reason my feet couldn't find the rope, the guy that went down in front of me, remember I told you we were wearing the old LCs with the canteens on each side? Mm-hmm. Well, when you get down to the bottom rope, you immediately need to get out of the way. They tell you, go pull security, but you immediately take off so that you don't have the next guy land on you. Well, the guy in front of me, no fault of his own really, like, he gets to the bottom and takes off running. Well, the rope got caught between his canteen and his body right there. He didn't realize he's just running as fast as he can, so he's taking the rope with him. Mm-hmm. While I'm up there, like, I'm holding onto the rope, but the rope was at like a, 45-degree angle, and that's why. So it was nobody's fault really. It was just an unfortunate accident. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure the cadre probably saw that too. Like, oh man,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, nobody thought like, oh, Skovlund f***ed that up. Mm-hmm. Like, to my knowledge, like that was not the vibe that was there.
But even f***ing yourself up though, and like and then like getting back up. And
but it was that little bit of grit of like getting up there, walking back up the tower, going back down again when you've got things up, and that's kind of how I got there. And then what sucks though, and I didn't consider this when I was doing this. Well, as hard as it would have been, redoing RIP again and all that sort of stuff. Well, guess what? It's not exactly great showing up to a Ranger Battalion as a new guy on profile, because they don't have any context for why you're hurt or anything like that. Like, it's just like, you might as well be just some broke dick that's like, so that kind of sucked. And then, like I said, we deployed to Iraq like 6 weeks later. I was just basically taken off profile like right before we went to Iraq. So I really had, outside of just like basic walkthrough stuff and things like that, I really didn't have full reps or anything like that. So it was fine. I distinctly remember my very first mission. One of the things I had to do is we had these signs. This lasted for, I don't know, not even the whole deployment, but for a while there. Leadership had put out that you had to put out these signs whenever we would go and raid a house that said like, do not cross this line, otherwise you will be shot or something like that. But you had to go literally put that sign out there in the middle of the road. Well, we only went out at night really. And so you're not even supposed to be out at that time of night because there was a curfew in Iraq at that time. So the streets were pretty empty and everything. But like, it was kind of a new guy duty to like carry the sign in, and this big awkward sign on the bird, and you just look silly. Please do not cross this line, or we are conducting a raid. Please stay back. And so I was supposed to like run it out, and apparently I like put it in the wrong place of the road or something. My team was like, they're not, you can't yell, but he's like, move the sign, and I'm like, what? Huh? Like, you can just imagine you're a new guy and you're just infuriating your team leader.
Just some tall, bumbly kid from the Midwest.
Yeah. And dude, the way it's tall, skinny, and gangly, and I'm just like, like under nods. You can just imagine what I look like under nods, running around. I'm a ranger. Just lost in the sauce. Somebody that deployment said something to me that has stuck with me since. They're like, Skovlund, you were the reason that Rangers are tier 2.